Hi, my name is Lesley Calvo and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk to you about living as a light being, having a human experience. It's something, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, first of all. When I was very young, I already had an awareness of many different dimensions that we were living in. I had an awareness of multiple beings that were here to help us, guides, angels. I also had an awareness that we have a frequency that we're giving off, and we're also living in a quantum field which is of frequency. And we as human beings are actually beings of light. We're beings of frequency. So when I was young, I had this awareness, though at a young age. Back then yoga was weird, like incense was weird, so it was something that I was very ashamed of and very embarrassed, and also I didn't really understand what was happening to me, or how I saw the world was so different from everybody else. That my perception, like nobody else could really, could really understand, and also it felt to me it's as real as this world is, as this is. So when people would say it was my imagination, it felt so much like it's saying this is imagination, or me here is imagination. So I learned to kind of handle it. I think in a young age I didn't talk about it, though in my 20s what happened is I had many spiritual awakenings, which involved a lot of like doubting who I was, and also experiencing things that made me feel like I was maybe losing my mind. There was things that were really extreme that I went through. I had hallucinations. There was a lot of things that I experienced. And what happened during my 20s is I started to have spiritual awakenings, massive spiritual awakenings, where I had out-of-body experiences. One time it was the first time when I was 19. I was on a university trip, and I left my body and travelled. And at that moment I knew that if I didn't come back into my body that I would have passed. I knew that I wasn't there anymore. When this started to happen to me in my 20s, I started to think and feel like I was going mad, and I experienced extreme depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fears. And I think that's why I want to talk to you about it today, because I think that it's something that a lot of people they're not always aware of why they're having maybe anxiety, fears, doubts, a lot of emotions that we have as humans that come up. We don't know how to handle them. We don't know what to do with them. And we are, what I learned through this time in my 20s was that we are infinite, incredible light beings, that we have a frequency, we have an energy, that we aren't just within the human body, though we are living here in this dimension on earth as a three-dimensional being. And if you imagine trying to put, this is the best way that I can think of it, but even this isn't a great analogy, is trying to put like an elephant into like a pin. Because we're an incredible, amazing being, though we're in like a limited version of ourselves. And what often happens is, as we're growing up, we try and fit in. We're at school particularly, we want to be like everybody else. We try and fit in. So we start to adapt our personality to fit in with others so that we don't stand out. Because if you stand out, often we're bullied. So what happens is you start creating an identity of yourself. You start to create an identity of Lesley or Kurt or Marcella. You start to create an identity of you. And you start to create like behaviours that you start to take on that aren't necessarily yours, though they're done in a way to fit in with others. So you start to limit parts of yourself. And, when we're young, you can see anyone who's like 3, 4, 5 years old, they don't have limitations. They're extremely expressed. Though what happens, the more you limit yourself, the more that you start to close your own, I think it's your own uniqueness, your own inventiveness, your own creativeness. What happens then is that as you're starting to do that, you start to create this identity, this separate version of yourself. And then what happens is you start to perform almost who you are. You start to create an idea of who you are. And we forget who we really are, the full expressed version of ourselves. And what happens is the more that we go into this as adults, we start to get more set as we're getting older, because we have our neural pathways are being created, which are creating like a little roads that you go down, the ways that you think, and we tend to go down the same roads over and over again. You have 90% of the thoughts that you had today are the same as that you had yesterday. So we tend to create like this limited box version of ourselves. And then as we're doing this, we're starting to realize more and more that we maybe don't even like ourselves, right? There's versions of ourselves, there's ways that we're behaving. We start to say, you're stupid, why haven't you done this, you can't do this, if only you could do this. We start to beat ourselves up because we're looking at this version of ourselves, not our true whole expressed being. So the more that we're doing this, the more that we're actually limiting ourselves and limiting the way that we can move through life. When actually, if we from a very young moment, from when we're born, if we would have gone through life just expressing ourselves fully, you would be a very different version of you now. So what I'm going to start inviting you to is just to start having an awareness that you are more than this identity. You are more than your thoughts. You are more than the version of yourself that you think that you are, because this has just been created through thoughts and feelings and behaviors through your life. And there is a version of you already living in the quantum field that has done and expressed everything that you want to do. Is already there. There's a version of you who's already experienced everything that you want to experience. So what I'm going to invite you into is just understand that the you who you think you are, the one that has all these issues, is an identity that's been created. It's not who you really are. You are an incredible, amazing being. You are whole, perfect, and complete just as you are. You've just learned ways to be able to shrink yourself to fit into society. And then you've shrunk yourself so much that now you don't know where you are. You don't know how to get yourself back. You feel distant. You feel disconnected. You feel lost. So many people feel lost. So many people feel that they're damaging themselves with their own thoughts, but they don't know how to stop doing it. And that's really, with this YouTube channel, that's really what I want to be doing, is helping you to unlock yourself from this prison of your own mind, from the prison of your own identity that you've created, and allow yourself to realize your true potential, your true beauty, how powerful and how strong, how incredible you are. If you could see you how I see you, you would never doubt yourself again. You're the most incredible being. You're the most, you have infinite potential within you. And I invite you to understand that whatever you're experiencing, that there is a way out of this, and that there is ways that you can feel different about yourself. You can feel truly fulfilled. You can feel truly happy. You can feel free within your own mind. And that is what I'm going to be inviting you to in this channel. I'm going to be giving like tips and ways to do this. So please subscribe. I'm really excited about being on this journey with you. It's a very new channel, and I'm really excited about being able to help you to realize just the incredible, amazing being that you are, without fear, without feeling that you're not enough, and being able to truly love yourself exactly as you are. Thank you.